Hello, welcome back to the breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you are watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I've got a breaking news report coming out from Ukraine, and I've got some wild information today from Ukraine's military. They allegedly carried out a strike on a Russian locomotive that was packed with tanks and armored vehicles. Take a look at your screen here. Ukraine's Southern Defense Forces destroys locomotive loaded with tanks. As a result of the successful attack by the armed forces of Ukraine, the army of the aggressor country lost more than 100 units of vehicles and armored vehicles, as well as 13 tanks. Okay, so this was actually being reported from Ukraine's Southern Defense Forces today, and it was announced on Telegram and on X. I'll show you guys all that info today. So, crazy strike. What happened here? I'm actually going to show you guys some sources on X that possibly indicate that this was a spiderweb 2.0 situation. If you guys remember what happened last Sunday, Ukraine carried out Operation Spider's Web in Russia, where they were utilizing FPV drones that were launched from cargo trucks across Russia and attacked airfields with these FPV drones, destroying Russian strategic bombers. And I think we may have had a similar situation here with this Russian locomotive. So this is a picture on your screen showing a Russian locomotive. It's not the actual one that was attacked, just being used for reference, just to clarify there. So let's go ahead and jump into this. Let me show you guys this information. We'll start off here with UNN. This is a mainstream news outlet out of Ukraine. And it says Defense Forces hit a locomotive with a column of occupiers' equipment, minus 13 tanks. Okay, you can see the date here, June 7th, 2025. And the only thing I want to show you guys is this right here. This is a statement reported from the Defense Forces of Southern Ukraine in Telegram. The Defense Forces of Southern Ukraine hit a locomotive with a column of enemy equipment. The enemy's losses amounted to 13 tanks and more than 100 units of armored and automotive equipment. So allegedly, vehicles were on here, armored trucks, maybe other types of armored tanks or whatever, or IFVs, infantry fighting vehicles, and also allegedly 13 tanks were on this train as well when it was struck and destroyed. Okay, so that's just the official report there. Now we're going to jump on over to X, and let me show you some independent sources here as well. Here's from Visioner, big news. Ukraine's Defense Forces South Command reports that they successfully struck a Russian military train, likely on the newly built Donetsk-Zaporizhzhia route, destroying 13 enemy tanks and over 100 various types of vehicles and armored equipment. Okay, so what this is indicating was most likely the strike was carried out maybe in the Zaporizhzhia Oblast, like the southern side and occupied territory by the Russians, or it could have been carried out in the Donetsk region as well, because there is a new train tracks that has been erected over there that runs basically close to the Russian border all the way over to Crimea. And the Russians travel through the Donetsk region and Zaporizhzhia, I think maybe even part of the Kherson region, before they transfer equipment on land over to Crimea. Okay, so this is just another picture showing here what allegedly could have been attacked or something similar to this with all these armored vehicles. So massive hit, guys. Hundreds of armored vehicles and over 100, that is, excuse me, and 13 tanks being destroyed in this strike. Now here's a picture from Max 25. These are NASA fire maps, okay, called FIRMS. And this is a map that came out also possibly indicating a massive fire that could have broke out near the train tracks after this train probably derailed and caught on fire after it was being hit numerous times. So I'm thinking maybe the train tracks might be right here, because I think this is a main road on this map. So the train tracks could be here, and maybe the crash happened here when this train was attacked and blown up. And we could see all this fire that had broken out here also in this area. It looks like it happened potentially near a city as well. So that was just information coming out from NASA Firms Maps. And here's the actual report from Ukraine's Southern Defense Forces today. That's their actual logo for their Southern Defense Forces. This is what they reported here. Obviously, it's not in English, it's in Ukrainian, but this is what it said. The Defense Forces South hit a locomotive with a column of enemy equipment. The enemy losses amounted to 13 tanks and more than 100 units of armored and auto equipment. Okay, that's what they stated on Telegram and on X today with this report. Now, I want to show you guys this. This is from Max 25 also. He's got a bunch of little emotes here with the face of somebody with their mouth wide open because they're shocked, right? So look at this. This came off Telegram, most likely from Russian sources. And I want to show you this. Another unthinkable F-up by our special services. There is no point in remaining silent anymore. The enemy destroyed a locomotive with tanks and dozens of armored vehicles. At some point, hatches through which grain is poured, began to fly off the railway containers such as hoppers or grain trucks while they were moving. It was through them that drones flew out and attacked the equipment that was located on the platform cars. What genius came up with the idea of combining a train of equipment with grain trucks is a mystery, as well as how the SBU managed to hide drones there is also unknown, but the result was this. The first blow was delivered to the locomotive, after which the train began to lose speed and was stopped. The enemy destroyed most of the equipment without hindrance. Operation Spiderweb 2.0. Someone must answer for this. So that's crazy, guys. If this happens to be the truth here of what happened, I'm sure we'll find out in the next 24 hours or so if Ukraine carried out an Operation Spiderweb 2.0 attack on this Russian locomotive that was packed with military equipment. This is crazy because Ukraine is just finding all kinds of insane ways to strike Russian military equipment and carry out huge blows as well to Russia's military. I mean, just like what we saw with these airfields being attacked last weekend. If these were hiding inside of a grain train or grain locomotive, and all of a sudden the tops of these roofs just popped off, they started flying out and attacking this train that was full of military equipment. That is absolutely nuts, guys. I just wanted to share that information with you and get that out there in case that happens to be true. But I guess we'll find out the real news here soon. But nonetheless, a massive destruction to Russian military equipment. Now, finally, I just want to give you a quick update here from Visioner. Volodymyr Zelensky has officially confirmed that as a result of the strike in Bryansk Oblast, all 3 Iskander M ballistic missile launchers were destroyed. So this is a report based on yesterday, as I let you guys know that Iskander M ballistic missile launchers were targeted up in the Bryansk region. This is like north of Ukraine, right next to the Kursk Oblast. And we had 3 launchers being targeted, and from what we understand, 1 was directly hit and destroyed, 2 others were likely damaged. And according to Volodymyr Zelensky tonight in his address to the Ukrainians, he holds like a nightly address where he does these little videos for like 5-6 minutes, updating everybody on the situation. That's what he stated during that address, was that all these 3 launchers were destroyed. Okay, so this is huge, guys. Very first time that Iskander M ballistic missile launchers have ever been destroyed by Ukraine, and I think they were destroyed by missiles, most likely HIMARS or something like that, was striking these and destroying them. So that's just a huge update coming out from there. And regarding this whole train situation, I'm going to follow this story. If we get some more updates, I'll give you guys more news on that at a later time, but it looks like possibly Operation Spiderweb 2.0 was carried out to destroy this Russian locomotive. So that's going to be it for today's update, though, guys. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless, and we'll see you in the next one.